There we go, Michael. It looks like we are live. Good morning, Michael Knight.
Good morning, New York, Vinnie. It's a Freaky Friday. It's a Fractious Friday. And in addition to that, living in America is a very exciting thing these days, especially if you want to stay alive or you want to discuss the events of the day with someone who's not a madman, or you want to run the headlines by me again. We're buying Greenland, but not at retail. We made him an offer. And beyond that, aside from people being randomly killed in the streets of Minneapolis or wounded in Portland, it's a day just like so many other days, with the University of Miami going to the top of the charts. Hard to believe that all these things are happening in the same days, in the same weeks, in the same country, to the same people, but for different reasons.
Well, it pales it. I mean, to be honest with you, it's hard to get excited about a football game when the whole country is falling apart. I don't know about you. I'm sure that there are a lot of idiots out there that will, be able to jump up and down and go rah rah rah, sis boom bah, hey Miami, or hey Ohio State, or whatever school you got that tin ass piece of paper from.
I'm going to take this call from Kailani. Kailani Aluna, what do you got? I'm on with Vinnie. Well, tell me now. Okay, right. Sorry for the interruption. She didn't want to interrupt. We will discuss this matter or whatever it is later.
Okay.
And there won't be any shots taken, hopefully, in our red SUV.
It is
that can be your show tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You can go over the best SUVs to be driving when ICE opens fire on you.
I would probably do yourself a favor and not. Well, I was going to say don't drive your SUV in the next few days. Stay off the streets.
That's not bad advice.
Because it just doesn't. It feels like something. I go back to the old. And his name is just you know. As soon as I tell you the song, you will immediately. There's something in the air.
Thunderclap Newman.
Thank you, Thunderclap Newman. And the air feels like that song. It feels like that condition is upon us. I don't know how if you are a Canadian. I don't know how if you are a Mexican. I don't know how if you are any government that abuts the United States, that has anything to do with the United States, that has a relationship with the United States, that's next to us, that's physically in our hemisphere. I don't understand how you can feel one iota of confidence right now that the full force of the United States military is going to be shown to you in some shape, manner, or form within the next 48 hours.
If you put it in the air, we'll shoot it down. You put it in the ocean, we'll sink it. If you put it in the ground, we will take your oil and call it ours. By the way, the oil in Venezuela is underground, under the sea, and it's thick crude. It's not the kind of West Coast refined oil. It's very difficult to refine, very difficult to get, and expensive, as the executives that are meeting at the White House today are going to have to tell Donald Trump. It's expensive to take out of the ground because of where it is, and the return on it is not as lucrative is on West Coast crude, the beautiful gasoline that the world prefers and that refines beautifully. So Donald Trump, in his ignorance, has once again laid this at the feet of the oil industry and saying, look what I did for you. Everybody come to the White House. We're going to have a talk. We're going to decide what you're going to do and what I'm going to tell you to do and what we're going to do with the oil. The acquiring of that oil, however, is going to be expensive and difficult, and Donald Trump can't play that game. He doesn't understand that. This is beyond his comprehension. He says it's an oil deal. What could be strange about it? What needs to be explained to me? It's an oil deal. I do this all the time. I'm a negotiator. I'm going to tell the oil companies to get down there. They're going to take the oil. They're going to refine the oil. And then we're going to use some of that money maybe to rebuild Venezuela, give them nice sidewalks and put up new stop signs everywhere so that the pedestrians are safe.
As soon as we get finished with Gaza, I mean, the first thing we have to do is we have to put the resorts in at Gaza, right?
And you got to put the hotels up, or else there won't be any of that beachfront property going to waste.
Right. I mean, you can say what you want to say, but the plan is, and I don't think that the Gazans are going to be too happy when you come along and say, well, you have to wait for the Gazans to get their hotels and stop signs and traffic lights and boulevardier
and frontage roads. Don't forget the frontage roads.
And you know, the traffic lights that move mechanically with the parrot on top, like you saw in Casablanca. I mean, they already said they wanted those.
Yeah.
They want that stuff. It's in the movie.
Also, you know, Netanyahu came to town, and it's like he never showed up. It's like he never came here. He got a whiff of what Trump was talking about with Greenland and Mexico and Colombia, and of course Venezuela had been done. And he said, I'm getting out of here while my plane is still gassed up. We're not going to talk about any of these other items. We're not going to talk about Gaza, the Gaza Hotel, the Gaza Beachfront Hotel, the Gaza Flamingo Hotel, the Gaza Sahara Hotel, and don't forget the Gaza Hotel and the Trump Hotel.
It's I don't know that there's any kind of master plan except take over, except to commandeer. I mean, you see any kind of, you know, and I mean, it just seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? That's something that you've always been able to do quite well. Sometimes I don't see things the correct way. So you tell me if I'm wrong. My mind is saying to me right now that the President of the United States has this plan that within the next 12 months, he is going to do as much possible damage as he can do to anybody who is not a citizen of the United States. He is going to steal for his cronies. He is going to take from who he wants to take from. He is going to set things up in a new world order that will serve him and his family and his band of gypsies. And maybe there'll be some left over for some other people, maybe not.
No, that would imply that he had enough of his own, and that can't happen. So I don't think there'll be much left over, Ben. Wouldn't count on that. It's like trying to have the last French fry after you let the seagulls have what they want.
I look at it and I just say to myself that by the end of the year, that we will have so many people fighting so many wars and so many police actions in so many different places. And by the way, let me always mention something, Michael, that I always mention when this kind of stuff happens. It's not Pete Hegseth getting off his ass to go fight a war. It's not Donald Trump Jr. getting off his ass to fight a war. It's not the other shit for brains son, or the newest sociopath
Jared.
that no, not Jared, the other son, Buckley or
Eric.
No,
Eric.
no, the youngest one, the one that was supposed to be off limits.
Barron.
Barron, yes, thank you. It's it's not these people that are going to go fight the war. It's the kids that are pushing the 3-wheeled bicycle with the boxes of groceries in them from Gristini's down the corner. And it's the kid or the guy who just wound up coming to this country and got a job delivering for a some kind of delivery service, DoorDash or whatever it is, who's trying to hustle a few bucks so that he can pay for an apartment to live in this country, to keep his family here. It's these people that are going to be killed. It's these people whose bodies are going to be incinerated. It's these people who are going to lose everything. Lose their daughters, lose their kids are going to lose their fathers.
That's why Trump calls these people suckers. That's why the armed forces are made of suckers and losers.
And if you don't go along with the plan, well, then you're anti-American and we'll send you back to where you came from. Not ever considering the fact that where you came from might be a mite better than where you are now.
And if you notice, the U.S. Armed Services, the Pentagon, the Joint Chiefs, not a peep, not a word, not a correction to be made. They're happy to serve. They're happy to attack. They're happy to load their weapons and use them. They've been dying to use them since they went to West Point. They wanted to crank those mothers up and blow somebody the fuck away. And now they get to do it with innocent Venezuelans that have nothing to fight with and no army to speak of. Sink their ordnance, take their guns, fuck over their tanks, steal their oil, blow up their cities. Not a word about legal or orders that are meant to be followed. Not a word of explanation. Not a word. Nobody calls them to bring their video and show us how you did this. What about the ships that you blew up? What about the tankers that you seized? How did you do it? Where did you get the order? Who told you to do it?
We're not even sure who did it.
If the army won't do it, they send in the CIA black ops guys, the black helicopters, and they'll do it. They're dying to get their hands on somebody. They don't much care who.
The people who would have said something are either dead or hiding
or dismissed. Remember, they fired a lot of generals.
A guy like Dick Cheney, who would have opened his mouth at one point, and even that phrase to come across the lip is astonishing all in itself.
It'll take a generation to put back what Trump has destroyed.
Probably more than a generation. We won't see it. Our kids won't see it.
And that's if they do it, because this idea of who's going to stop him has still never been answered. There's not one person that is prepared to stop him in a legal sense. That's why everyone is saying somebody's going to have to kill this guy. Somebody's going to have to take him out. Someone's going to have to stop him. He will not stop until he is stopped, until somebody physically stops him. And
I don't.
Not endorsing murder.
Let's not. Yeah, Michael, let's not get into that.
But you know perfectly well.
You feel like having some fucking cops at your door. I don't. They were here already this week. Um, but something, somewhere, somehow, somebody is going to have to grow a pair of nuts and do something.
Well, it won't be the Republicans. When the government was shut down, they left Washington for 2 months. They just left the city. They had nothing to do. They had no bills that they wanted to work on, no projects that needed seeing to, no element of governance that needed attention.
Well,
they just left.
Because they've gotten what they wanted. The Republicans for years, when the Democrats were running things in their vague and insular way, always said, "Well, we'd sure do a much better job. Let us show you how to run this government. Let us show you how we can make it work. We can make it work so much better. Everybody will get their fair share of the pie."
So that was the concept. I don't know how they can defend the way it worked out, because they're of all the gutless leadership that we can use as an example. I don't think anything matches what the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives have managed to not do. They don't concern themselves with anything. They lie and make up stories as fast as they can. If a story breaks today about Venezuela, by the time you get to Capitol Hill to ask anybody about it, what their reaction might be, they've already got a senseless, preposterous set of explanations and defenses, and they do it every day with no shame, with no fear of looking like a fool, with no qualms about being wrong, about lying outright, about telling tales so dark and so black and so wrong that you wouldn't think that any sensible politician would ever utter those words. But there they are, talking in less than complete sentences about something that didn't happen, making up shit that goes down so smooth, so beautifully, so effortlessly. They can't find the brakes, Vinnie. They go right into the defense. And that's how Christine Nome can say the guy got hit by a truck. He was injured. He went to the hospital. You can see it all in the video. When you see him standing there not being hit by the truck, when you see him shooting 3 times in the window instead of over the hood where they said he shot. And then they take the investigation away from the local police and give it to the FBI, and the whole thing is already disappearing before your very eyes.
Yeah. Did you see the video of Jesse Ventura this morning?
What did Jesse come up with?
Jesse was caught coming out of his alma mater, a high school in somewhere in Minnesota, and basically said that this is an illegal takeover of our government. That these people, this Republican administration, has decided that they're going to run this thing unconstitutionally. They have no respect for the law. That the United States of America, as we know it, ceased to exist on January 6th. And when they let those people walk, when those people on January 6th of 2016, when those people were pardoned, when they were let walk, when they were allowed to do, and suffer no consequences for what they did, that it was basically the day that the United States tossed in the towel and died. That there is, in essence, a loosely scattered bunch of laws that are on the books that can be now obeyed or disobeyed, depending not on what's on the books, but depending on who you know, how much money you have, and how much power your friends have. And that's it. That's what it is about now. It is no longer have anything to do with anything else. And you can use whatever you want to use as an excuse. You can use Black Lives Matter. You can use defund the police. You can throw out every jingoistic term that the men who are so busy on Madison Avenue can throw out there and feed you through the available channels of social media. But they are out there for your perusal. They are out there for you to listen to, and they are out there for people to spread around.
Something for each of you to believe.
And this is what, until somebody takes charge, until somebody says that we need to return to the principles and the law that this country was founded on, that this is our present situation. It is not when it will happen. It has happened. So,
and there's another element to the checks and balances of our system that isn't working, and that's the courts. The Supreme Court has made itself plain, made itself understood, made itself clear that it's here to interpret the future, not the Constitution. It's just putting everything in its place for the future. When Donald Trump, it will be allowed to run for his third term. When the elements of control that are available and have sustained us for so long in all the states and counties and across the nation when it comes to vote, all that will be cast into a cocktat. The secret police will be called out in all the major cities. The idea there would be to preserve the chaos long enough to screw up the elections. And
to get to that next election in 2028.
The election can't happen today, folks, because we got a little trouble at headquarters. We'll do it in a year or two. You'll be the first to know. We'll let you know. Everybody should vote, but not today, and not now, and not for the presidency. We got that taken care of. We did a shortcut, and it's a lot smoother this way. I think you'll like it. I think America's going to love this new idea of no votes. No votes will be counted. No votes will be cast. And when we do have elections, we'll let you know in advance.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you won't even have to leave the house. You just press that little button on the side of your television set.
That's all you got to do.
And tune in the next morning, and we'll give you all of the numbers that we've constructed, that we've come up with this whole new system. You're going to love it. You don't have to move off your fat ass and go to a polling place. As a matter of fact, we'd like it much better if you didn't go to a polling place.
And there'll be a housewife walk right up to the camera and saying, I love Donald Trump because he says what he thinks. That's why. That's why I love him. He's a straight shooter. You can count on him. He's a businessman and a negotiator. He's the man who should have won the Nobel Peace Prize because, after all, he ended 9 wars, but then he started 3 more really quick. And who would have thought that Greenland represented such a threat to America? But there it is, sitting there big and frozen and right in the middle of the road.
Well, I had that smelly ass fish that they would eat, and good Lord knows that we don't want those people eating that fish. As a matter of fact, President Trump has just ordered that the filet of fish sandwich be taken off of the menu.
What about gefilte fish?
At all McDonald's.
Gefilte fish? Is that out of the deli?
Especially gefilte fish. That's gone. Make your day a little bit brighter. Go get yourself a jar of Vita. That's gone, man. That pickled herring, gone. We don't want any of that. Anchovies, off the pizza menu.
Oh dear. That's gonna I'm not sure I can live like that.
Caesar salad, fuck those Italians.
it's an extra charge because they bring it to your table to prepare it. They toss it right at your table.
So that's what you'll have to deal with for the next few years until people can regain some modicum of sanity. And the only thing that will stop it is you and me and all of us who still believe that this country can be saved. And Michael, that number is lessening and lessening every single day.
People lose the traditional American optimism is worn thin and is weakened and is not equal to the task. That's the problem of being an optimistic American, that we can think of the answer and work out a solution and come to an agreement of how to proceed and do it right and win and be successful. All those American traits have been set aside, just like the House of Representatives set aside their responsibilities, just like the U.S. Senate stopped being senators and just became frightened followers.
Well, you and me and all of us who believe that this country can be saved, that there is a place for us to fashion out a continuation of what we believe is a constitutional government, that it's not going to be an easy task, that we are going to have to get out, and we are going to have to not wait until, after Labor Day, that we're going to have to, come see me after the 15th of September, and maybe I'll do something. No. The game is on now. By the time this upcoming election this year, starts to hit the ground running, we need to know who the players are. We don't need, and my God, I love the guy, but we don't need a lot more Tim Walls. We don't need them. We need the Gavin Newsoms. Like them or dislike them, you're going to need people like that. You're going to need people who are willing to stand up and say what they believe in. And if it pisses off a few people, then so be it. This is not going to be about political correctness. This is not going to be about, we certainly don't want to make sure that we, don't offend certain people, and we don't.
Chuck Schumer is concerned and afraid. He's concerned and very worried. So I don't think we need any more defense than that, Vinnie. Chuck Schumer will handle it as he has.
Chuck Schumer has eaten from the trough. He has, as they say, he has wet his beak. And it is time for Chuck Schumer to step aside. I'm not saying he should resign his office, but it is up to us and to those who want to save this country to find the people who are going to do that. It is time for the people in the Democratic Party who are not afraid of stepping on some toes and who are saying, we are going to have to step on some toes in order to save our party and to save our country.
These midterm elections that are going to change the face of this country one way or the other, maybe more than one way, have to represent people's wishes to save their nation. It's a situation where it's vital that the issues be discussed realistically and desperately and emotionally, so that everyone understands this is your shot. You want to put things back, on the shelf. It's not going to be easy, but it begins with your vote. It begins with your commitment to change and to lead to the legality of the change and the laws and the efforts that are made plain in the Senate and the House have to be able to pass the smell test. They have to be as illegal as Trump was. That's how extra legal the Democrat solution has to be. It has to be real, and it has to be genuinely powerful, and it has to be instituted quickly.
Well,
no hesitation.
we're going to have to, people are going to have spelled out to them what the plan is, how the plan is. It can't be a bunch of people just standing up there and saying, well, Trump is so bad for you. You have to know that already.
That's a given, and 30% are going to vote for him anyway.
Right. We have to get past that Trump is this and Trump is that, and we're going to call them names, and we're going to do this. And it's the orange hair, this. No. What is your plan to take this situation that we have let ourselves get into and make it a situation that will find equity for people, that will find an ability for people to say, yeah, maybe I don't agree with that 100%, but give me the 75% that I agree with. And let's start going there. Let's start getting it done. That for people to come out of their house and to drive to a school and be shot and killed while they're driving to a school is wrong.
By someone who the vice president says has total immunity. They don't. It's a lie. It was a story. It was a terrible thing to say. But he said it anyway yesterday, that the people working for ICE right now has total immunity.
I mean, this hillbilly scumbag doesn't know what he's talking about. My law degree is better than his law degree. And I got mine from the International Correspondence School.
That's a good school. They got a great football team.
A good refrigerator repair unit as well. And if you don't care about your country enough to give up 6 or 8 or a year of your lives and go out there and talk to people, to stand on street corners on cold nights, to explain to people how this should work, to stop and talk to people at a coffee shop and tell them why it should work, to butt in on conversations. If you can't do that, then you know what? Pack your satchel and head for Venezuela or for Colombia or for whatever country you want to head toward. And maybe you'll have a United States to come back to. Maybe you won't. It really, to me, comes down to being that simple. That the time to stand up and save this country is now. I'm not smart enough to know exactly how to do it.
First, put on the brakes, stop what you're doing, stop everything that you're doing, and fix what you've broken. The needs of this nation are so great right now that I'm disappointed in the armed services, not for the service that they have given us and the wars that they fight and the difficult atmosphere that they have to exist in, but the fact that I've never heard a general, an admiral, or a lieutenant colonel say anything that reassures the people of America that they aren't in league with Trump right now to do his bidding, to use the forces that we have at our disposal to pick on the the most inefficient drug dealers in the world got to be in Venezuela. They drive boats that are 30 feet long. You can see them from a satellite, and they keep going in the same places and doing the same things, and we keep sinking them. That's not what I would call learned behavior. That's not executives making decisions in a global drug trade that is bringing in millions of dollars. That's the work of idiots. Anybody could have shot them down. The damn American Coast Guard is equal to the task. And how can they put another crew on another boat and send them across the same Gulf of America to be sunk by the CIA, the Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, the Air Force, whoever is out there that day? And who's the commanding officer who's doing the bidding of Trump? Where's the meetings in the Pentagon where these things are discussed and financed and planned? Where's all that taking place? Because we have no idea.
Yeah, where's the openness of it all?
It happens the next day. We hear about it the next day, or we don't.
Where are the people who are supposed to look at this stuff and say, hang on a second, this isn't right? Where are the where are the Ben Bradleys of the world? Where is that generation of people that you may not have agreed with all the time, and they may have been on Nixon's side sometimes, and they may have in some ways screwed things up. But when the real chips came down to it, they were those who said, wait a minute, this is not right. Because if we don't start doing that.
And the instability is working elsewhere as well. Obviously, Ukraine is a great example of a war that we were involved with, that we had staved off, that we had financed the opposition to, and now we've given up on it. We don't know what the hell's going on in Ukraine. We don't know what the hell's going on in Iran. They turned off their internet, and they turned off their connective media with the rest of the world because they screwed up the economy so bad that the people there are revolting against killers in the street. The fabric of society is deteriorated to the point where the government had to, as a safety, for their own safety, turned off the internet today. And the streets are on fire and the neighborhoods are burning and Tehran is up for grabs. It's a perfect situation for Israel to get involved in.
Well, yeah, and you feel that coming.
Yes.
You feel it. I mean, you can feel it in your bones
because he sees the opportunity.
Right, Netanyahu is going to say, is going to go to Trump and say, "Look, we can fix this in one afternoon."
You said you'd do it after you built the Gaza hotel. Now let's do it. Let's do it reverse. Let's destroy Iran now, and then we'll build the Gaza hotel next week.
Let's just let's lob a few nukes in there and level the place. It's the perfect opportunity.
And we'll be safe.
And we'll be safe. I don't know. Did you see this report that came out from Ukraine last night? And I don't know how true it was. So I really didn't. I'm even a little hesitant to say it because I haven't seen it in anything else but a couple of reports from one of them might have been Reuters. So I'll take that as a reliable source. That the Ukrainians or somebody have been lobbing nuclear type. Oh no, it's the other way around. Russia has been lobbing nuclear type or delivery systems for nuclear type weapons into Ukraine.
I haven't heard that.
So, in other words, Putin is looking at a chance for him to turn around and say, well, maybe this is about the time that we should turn things around. And so what? If we drop a dirty bomb in somewhere in we don't even have to hit one of their major cities. We can knock off Venezia. We can knock off some city that's not that well known. That's not that but we can do it, and we can show them that we have it.
It is a utilizing a new nuclear capable hypersonic ballistic missile known as the Kreshnik, and they're using it to attack Ukraine from Russia. Based on reports, massive unconventional aerial attack on Ukraine using a new nuclear capable, it's not carrying a nuclear weapon, hypersonic ballistic missile known as the Oreshnik.
Well, it doesn't sound like something you'd like to be in the vicinity of when it went off.
They're close friends, Putin and Trump. They get along.
Oh, yeah.
Famously, they're like this.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but what was it? 7 days he was going to end that war?
One day, day one.
Day one. Until of course, Putin told him to mind his own business.
Don't call me on day 2. Don't call me on day 3.
Yeah, we'll send you I'll send you these pictures that I got of you getting spanked by a couple of Russian waitresses in that little bar on 2nd Avenue. I'll be happy to do that. Why not?
It's a good picture of you. You look young.
Yeah, you have all your hair is running one way and in the same color. My nephew is taking off to school next week at NYU, and I'm becoming less and less enthusiastic about that as we speak.
You have concerns for his safety in New York?
Well, I'm concerned for his safety in New York. I'm concerned for Yeah, I am. I'm concerned that all of a sudden, you may get, Putin who decides that. Well, let me show Donald what I got.
He's distracted right now. He's paying attention to Venezuela, and he's meeting with all the oil companies to try and figure out how to get the oil out of the ground.
Well, how to clean that oil up. I know about dirty oil. I used to work.
I made the deal. Now you oil companies go down there and get the oil, and we'll one for me, one for you, one for me, one for you, 2 for me, 1 for you. We'll fill up our limousines and drive in circles.
Yeah. And the great thing about it is that our good friend Bobby Kennedy, knows where all the clean oil is in the country. He can draw you a little map and say, stay away from this one, drill over here. Stay away from that one, drill over there. Drill anywhere where you see a Citgo sign. You'll be okay. You'll be okay if you drill there.
The students in school will be sick, and they'll be carrying a variety of diseases. Instead of just one, they can have 3 or 4 at the same time. It's a time-saving device. And they develop that immunity that comes from the crowd.
Right.
That's all you need.
And don't even worry about having to get them any kind of vaccination.
It's not necessary.
I mean, I know about this. I went to Boston College.
And there'll be a variety of politicians who will be like truth tellers, truth soothsayers to the few who will be willing to listen to them. Like the mayor of Minneapolis who said, "Get the fuck out of our town. What you're talking about is bullshit. Just get the fuck out of our town. Go and keep going. Get into your Jeeps, get your masks and your strange little uniforms, get your government agencies and your secret police, get in the car, get in your SUVs, and get the fuck out of our city. Go and keep going." That's what they need to hear, and that's all they need to hear. They're not welcome. They're not American. They're not safe. They're not legal. They're not.
Tell you what, I'll make it nice and clear for you. A little too late for this weekend, but next weekend we have the big football stadium that isn't being used this time of year because the Vikings have decided that we had our once every 10-year shot at the playoffs. So why don't you come on up here, drive across country, drive from the south, we'll turn the heat on in the building. You can camp on the field if you like. And let's see if we can pack 100,000 people into this place with nothing but the with the extreme message of get the fuck out of our town. Even though it's not really our town, get your INS and LSD and EPA and whatever else you got.
PDQ.
Get them out of our town. We don't need you here.
You're going to miss them when they're gone, though, because being randomly pushed on the sidewalk when it's icy and snowy is a real wake-up call. It's nice to have a grandpa and a housewife getting pushed by armed secret police randomly on the street in Minneapolis on a snowy, icy day. Just keeps you in the game, keeps you alert, keeps you on your feet, keeps you aware of those people around you. And there's nothing like the refreshing slap in the face of armed men harassing children and housewives, going to public schools and screwing up their recess and their lunchtime. Yeah. This is what America has come to. This is
our country.
This is what Miller has brought us.
I've never been so embarrassed. And I've lived through some pretty embarrassing times as an American citizen. I've lived through some pretty great ones. But I've lived through some pretty embarrassing times. Now, I just saw I just saw not but a couple of seconds ago here that Stephen Miller has told the New York Times that we're going to have to do some things that you may not like in Venezuela and in South America. You may see some things that are going to upset you.
It's South America. I mean, they're used to this. They're very adaptable. They put up with dictators and despots all the time, strongmen, military juntas. They're used to it. And so when we bring our brand of the same thing down, it's just going to be accepted. It's going to be a few uncomfortable days, but they'll get over it, and so will you.
Yeah, if you can bring a Noriega, if you can bring I'm trying to think of a Daniel Ortega.
Juan Perón.
Yeah, that's a name you haven't heard in a while, huh? if you can bring some of the people of that ilk,
Pinochet.
he's always his name always fosters good feelings among men. If you can bring these people around and you can get them ready for some action, they're all looking for jobs. I mean, there may be a younger generation of them. I read this morning in the Times that hang on a second. All right, where was it? I was reading it that you must that we are going to our next country that we are looking at is Cuba.
Cuba's ready to
Cuba
fall.
seems to be
It was announced
right.
yesterday. That's what Trump said. Cuba's ready to go, ready to fall. We're just going to step in and help them with the landing.
And while I wouldn't mind seeing Cuba become a nice, place that had a form of democracy and a form of, first of all, we can't run our own fucking democracy, okay? Let's start with that one. So before we start telling people how to run their democracies, how about we straighten out how to run ours?
We'll figure out how.
How about we say, hey, you want to have a democracy down there? Great.
Follow us.
Here's the book. We have it. You can look at it. You can make some, don't mark on it, copy and paste it onto a clean piece of paper and make your markings there. And let's sit down and we'll help you out. But let's not tell them how to do it. Because we're having a trouble here, we're having trouble doing our own democracy. We came up with this system and we can't even run it. And so maybe what even could be a much more try this on for size idea is how about we all sit in a room and say what would work best for everybody? How could we come up with something that might be beneficial so that people in many places would get some freedom of speech, some beneficial economic situations, some health care, to bring their standard of living up?
You don't want that Kennedy health care. That's something that's just for Americans. It's the denial of science, which is a big step for some countries. We've managed to do it quickly, and we never look back. We don't believe in science anymore. We don't need it anymore for our medical decisions. It's best not to use doctors for those anyway. We use crackpots like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his friends who come to conclusions based on their feelings about things, how they assume it might happen. And it tells you how to live your life without having to worry about scientists or long words or difficult concepts or getting it wrong and having to pay the price for it. None of that guilt, none of that bullshit, none of that truth, and none of that science. That doesn't help us. The way we do it now is, how do we feel about it? Let's proceed. Tell Kennedy we'll meet him at lunch and Dr. Oz, and he will figure it out. But it's not going to include medicine. It's not going to include injections. There's not going to be a burdensome decision for the parents to make. Just forget about it. Let your kids go without inoculation. It's probably going to be okay in the long run. And if it's not, what can I say? We gave it our best shot. We thought we were right. We still do.
We got Woody. Woody the Woodchuck in Pittsburgh is saying you're the man, Vinny. Show, us, me, you all together. Thank you, Woody, for listening to the show. Let's see what Kevin has to say. Kevin McBride McKim. I like that name, Kevin. Kevin McBride McKim. That should
That's
be a
it's a
newscaster.
politician. It's a politician's name.
Yeah. You guys, in my opinion, democracy is not a spectator sport to be watched. Democracy is the act of participation by all citizens for the common good of the whole. So complain about the state of the nation, but remain just a spectator full of finger pointing excuses. Can't seem to figure out that if you choose not to participate and only take from the system, that soon the system of our democracy begins to vanish and an objectionable situation and behaviors begin to erode. So,
But this is right, Kevin. This is what happens when you do nothing. When you sense there's a problem, a real problem that threatens everything and all your things and every aspect of your life and your safety and your future, you let that ride, you got a problem. And that's where we are right now. It's time to take control once again of the process, and voting becomes a all-important aspect of changing the guard. Out with the old, out with them, out into the street with them, and bring in a new set of representatives who represent the needs of the people that they, in their state, in their district. Their Senate actually functions. Their House of Representatives actually works on a daily basis. The laws they enact and the measures that they undertake are to help the people that they serve and to make the country stronger and more resilient. All those things have been left to the side. All those things have been ignored and jeered, made fun of. Distractions are a million a day. Trump can come up with something to say about Greenland today that'll take the headlines for the next 3 hours. And you'll forget about Ukraine. And you'll forget about the COVID injections. You forget about inoculating your children so they'll be safe when they begin school. You forget about the army being under control or wildly out of control. You forget about the FBI destroying evidence and taking over investigations that they should be sharing with local police. It's frightening how distant we've gotten from being Americans. And the French yesterday had to lecture us saying you've taken a position on the world stage that leaves your allies behind. You don't need us. You don't consult with us. You just leave us behind. You assume that we're with you. You assume that we're on your side. But what is your side? What is your position? What are you going to do today that surprises the rest of us? What are you going to do tomorrow that upsets all of us?
well, Michael, that listen, the first time that Trump went over to France, he couldn't get his face out of Mrs. Macron's chest. It's the only thing he was interested in looking at. He could give a crap that he was standing there.
That's true.
Remember that when he the first time went over, he was all over.
They had a parade, and he really liked the parade. He
He
wanted a
liked the
parade
parade.
like
He
that.
thought if he had a parade, maybe he could steal Mrs. Macron from Macron. Absolute embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment. All right. Couple of things. Michael, I would ask, please, for people who are listening to the show and enjoy the content that you're getting from us to please go to YouTube and subscribe to our show. We're at Golden V Media is the way you find us. Go to Golden V Media and you'll see a place there where you can click on it and like our show and subscribe to our show. We need you to do that. We don't charge you anything for this fine content, nor probably should we without being investigated by the Federal Trade Commission, although they're busy doing something right now anyway.
It'd be
But
cool.
if you could do that, it would help us out in us trying to grow our channel. And with all of the AI stuff that's going on these days, as I learn more and more about trying to grow this channel and trying to make um, something better for us, a forum, which I believe is really going to be a place where we will be able to have a place to find true information out about politics going into this midterm election and to express your views. It is becoming more and more important for you and I and everybody to have this avenue where we can talk to each other. So please tell your friends, send them an email, give them the link, uh, have them go to Golden V Media, and please subscribe to us. Please, um, it takes a second, and it will help us immensely. So that's the one thing. Number two,
We thank
we
you in
got drive
advance.
time.
We go what?
I'm sorry. What were you going to say, Michael?
I'm saying it'd be much appreciated.
Yes, yes, it would. It would. We really need you to if you want to see this show continue, uh, you need to do that. Uh, simply for the fact that um, we it's becoming more and more expensive for me to run this show, to do this show, to put in the money that it takes to keep this show on more than just a one channel. And if you do that, I would be able to get some monetary um, help in doing that. But right now I can't because we're under 1,000 subscribers. And if you do it, you'll show us that you appreciate it, and you'll get a show, a wildly entertaining show. If you don't, the dog gets it.
It looked like a dog's dinner.
Remember the old billboards? If you don't listen, or the dog gets it.
Yep, that was the National Lampoon.
Yeah, that was that's what we need. So right now, we implore you to please click that little social media button and let people know that you appreciate the show, and let us help us to continue to bring this type of information and entertainment and cheerleading for this country. We're your country's cheerleaders, folks. I mean, I don't know if you realize this or not, but we don't ask you to go into your pockets and send us. We don't soupy sales you. We don't tell you to go into your parents' jackets and take out $10 and put it in an envelope and send it to Mikey and Vinnie, P.O. Box 50606, Hollywood, California, 96027. We don't do that. Might not be a bad idea.
That's not the. If you're going to send us money, that's not the address. So send it to the right place so we can get it at least.
Yeah. Right. Please, and there are better ways to do it. But the idea is that this coming year is going to be a tough one for people. We know that there's work to be done, and the best way to make that happen is to get the numbers of the show up. If you believe in what we're doing, if you don't, then just tell us to go get lost. But
the dog gets it.
I see the numbers all the time. There are a lot of you out there that believe in what we're doing, and it's at some point on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you stop by for a little jolt of information, a little jolt of levity. The Spolpakian weather report.
That's a good weather
Whatever.
report. I don't care what anybody says. It's unique in weather reports.
Yes, we're the only station that broadcast these Spolpakian weather reports. So, and also the continuing service road maps of Spolpaki. The only place you can get them.
Well, if you don't have a map, you never find your way around Spolpaki because of the service roads and the frontage roads and the connecting roads are a mess. And you got to have some guidance. We have professional guidance that'll get you through that. In fact, there are guides that will get you from one end of Spolpaki to the other by use of the little understood frontage and service roads.
Right, 66 and 66A. We're the only ones that know how it works.
And it sounds simple, but it's a lot more complicated than just two numbers. Yeah, 66 and 66A. But what if you want to make a left off 66A? You find yourself in dire straits in no time at all. You'll never find your way out of it.
The road engineers do not know how to make a left turn from 66 into 66A. The guys that built the road can't make the turn.
Their first skill was not in building the road. It's got to be acknowledged that they're not the best road builders, but they're enthusiastic. They will build a road. They'll put in a clover leaf that only has 3 clovers. You'd think it would have 4, but this is Spolpakia. Things are done a little differently there.
Then
you need someone to help you through the translation.
Concrete. It just gets and finally tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, please listen to our drive time radio. We'll have some a little bit of information for you, a little bit of chutzpah, a little bit of car stuff. I'm driving the Kia Carnival, which is not the minivan that you ever thought that you would be driving. It's a minivan that's made for the future. It's made for it's made for a generation of people who don't want to be identified with a minivan. And this is the second long trip. I'm going to take a long trip this weekend in one. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the show tomorrow from the minivan. And it's really, Kia has really done this thing nice. They actually seems like they had somebody sit down. You know how when they mock up a Carmichael, they don't mock up a Carmichael. Do you know that when they mock up a car, Michael, that they will not Lucy Carmichael either. Put it out, lay it out on the floor. The fine people at Kia, when they put this van together, put the seats in the right places, and then they made them so they're able to move. And so if something felt better an inch or two over, that they said that wouldn't be a bad idea to lose it, to put it there. Why should we be bound by tradition?
This is also the week that the Chinese non-electric car became #1 on the world, passing Tesla.
Yes.
Let that be a lesson to your market-drawn conspiracies.
We spoke about that last week on Drive Time, that for the first time, the #1 selling car in the world is not a Ford F-150 truck. It is, in fact, a Tesla. It is a Tesla. No, so let me back up. I'm mixing two things up. It is a BYD, which is the Chinese electric car company. It's been around for a long time.
Made by the Chinese army in anger in the middle of the night.
Yeah, they got pissed off one night and said, "Bring me a cup of bring me a couple of batteries. Bring me some seats. I think you have a battery charger in there somewhere. Bring me 4 lights, 2 of them red, 2 of them white.
Bring me a shrubbery. Don't forget that.
Bring me 4 rubber, what do you, Espanol de Gomez, tires. Bring me 4 tires. And don't
Can you
exclude
get by?
it.
Can you get by with? Can you get by with 3?
No, you got to bring 4.
Okay.
You'll find that balance will be very important for this vehicle.
Will it take gas from Venezuela?
No. As a matter of fact, that's the endearing component of this vehicle is that it will take no gas from nary a country. Sorry, Venezuela.
Your
But
timing,
we didn't want to
Venezuela,
leave ourselves open.
couldn't have been worse, Venezuela, for timing. But what are you going to do?
So do that stuff, and join us tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, California time or Washington time or West Coast time. And then we'll explain it all to you once again with pictures. We have some pictures that we can show you, some tape that we can show you. And I think it'll be an informative and illustrative show.
Roll tape on that BYD.
Do you know what that means?
I don't.
Bring your dreams.
Well, that's a admirable idea. Bring your dreams.
Kind of an interesting name for a car company, right? Bring your dreams.
We'll have a good show tomorrow, Vinnie, at 11 o'clock.
Mikey, I will try that. I'm glad that I was able to do the show today. I did not feel well, and I'm glad that I was able to get through it. And hopefully the illness that has visited my house is gone, and we will be able to give you a show tomorrow that'll meet not only my standards, but your standards and Sammy Davis Jr.'s standards and everybody else's.
Okay, then take care of yourself and get well. Take your vitamins and drink lots of water and be good.
I will. One more thing before we go. We do have to RIP the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the daily newspaper that was in Pittsburgh for hundreds of years. I don't remember if they published their last edition this week or will publish it Sunday. But it will cease publication. And it is, it's never a good thing when a newspaper dies, because it means that a piece of our democracy, a piece of our lives, the record of our existence has ceased to be.
And people getting 3 quotes checked for accuracy before printing will cease to be.
Yes, the Post-Gazette was run on the pretty much on the principle of the New York Times. I believe for a time it was owned by the New York Times. And it was run by a set of principles that were attached to journalism that said you use reliable sources, that you develop sources that are reliable, that you check with people that make sure that they're not flukes. You don't print something that you heard in the back of the 23 Lexington as it was going over the hill and down into the city.
If somebody says the raccoons stole it, you got to find the raccoons. You got to find out if they did steal it. You got to find out what they did with it, and you have to check the statement of the original person that told you it was the raccoons who had caused the problem, because they've been blamed before and it didn't check out. Checking it out, that's the hard part. And the who, what, where, when, and how is hard enough. But checking out your sources, checking out your quotes, checking out the facts are a time-honored element of journalism. And that's something that Donald Trump doesn't understand, because he doesn't deal in facts. He's a liar. People who support him don't deal in facts. They are liars. The FBI is distorting facts. They are liars. The ICE executives and the commanding officers are not telling you the truth. They are liars. With so many people, powerful as they are, lying to you on a daily, hourly basis, you need journalism to ask the tough questions and then to check the answers to make sure they're right. Because the people around you, America, are lying to you. And they do it because it's easy. And you fall for it every time.
And you let them get away with it. Yeah. And it wouldn't be so easy if you questioned. So question. As the bumper sticker used to say, question authority. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11, folks, when we'll have some fun talking about cars, and I'll see you on Monday. Get ready. It's going to be a rough ride the rest of the year. I get a feeling. And we'll be there with you, but don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And
I'm picking Oregon over Illinois, over Indiana. Sorry, Indiana, I got your name wrong.
You think you think Indiana's going to lose that one, huh?
I think Oregon will win that game, and then Miami will beat Oregon.
I'm interested. I don't think it's going to be such a pushover. I got a funny feeling Indiana is
no pushovers, not a pushover.
Yeah, I have a couple of people that profess to know football, and they tell me that if you had some money and you're interested in losing it or winning some, they're not quite sure. That it might be a good idea to drop a few squeegees on Indiana. Lay a few there to shore it up a little bit. Remember, bet with your neighbor's head, not under it.
So be it.
Peace, Michael.
Peace,
see you Monday after Lord's will and the creek don't rise. Peace, love. Manischewitz, baby.
It's tempting to drink too much wine, but don't do it. Not Manischewitz. That's just a sip. It's just a sip.
I'm off the wine these days. See you.
Yeah. See you, Vinnie.
Bye. Thanks for listening, folks.